He's just a cash cow for the whole family. My dad sent that message in our secret family group chat. Every word felt like a knife stabbing straight into my heart. 6 months have passed, yet I still can't forget those cruel messages from the very people I once considered my family. Each sentence and word is like a raised scar that will never fade. I lost both my parents in an accident when I was 6. They took me in after that. I thought fate had finally given me a real family. But no. After everything, it was all just for a reason. Hello. I'm Kevin N., 34 years old, a personal finance consultant. My job is simple: helping people get out of debt, invest wisely, and take control of their finances. Thanks to that, I make over 7 figures a year, own a luxury apartment in the city's heart, and never worry about money. But to my family, I'm just a guy playing around with money on the internet, someone without a real job. My dad, Frank 62, was an accountant for 35 years. He believes that only those who wear suits and work a 9-to-5 job have a real career. He nearly lost his mind the day I decided to leave a significant financial firm to start my own business. He snapped, his voice filled with anger. What the hell are you doing? Who's going to pay you as your bro? Who's covering your insurance? You think you're some genius. Unlike my dad. My mom, Elaine, 58, never cared how I made money. That was enough for her as long as I sent her money every month. I still remember the day I landed my first $300,000 contract. I called her right away, excited to share the news. I had hoped for a word of praise, maybe even a hint of pride. But all she asked was, "So how much are you sending this month?" No congratulations. No interest in my success. Then there's my younger sister, Sophie, 24th. She graduated from college but has never worked a single day. She lives off my parents' money, stays in a luxury apartment, buys designer bags, travels around Europe and calls it enjoying her youth. For the past 10 years, I've supported my family financially, yet not once have I received a sincere thank you. To them, I owe them everything, as if the money I earned wasn't mine but theirs. And then, a little over 6 months ago, I finally understood the truth. They never saw me as their son. I was just a foster kid in the truest sense. One they had raised, so it was only right that I repay them. Frank and Delane adopted me when I was 6 years old. Before that night, I had a happy family, but a tragic accident took my biological parents away, turning me into an orphan in an instant. No one in my extended family was willing to take me in, but Frank and Delane, a married couple longing for a child for years, opened their arms and brought me home. Back then, I was their joy, their light. I still remember my first days in their home. They did everything to make me feel safe. I had my room, toys and brand new clothes. Mama Lane would read me bedtime stories at night, and Dad Frank taught me how to ride a bike in the backyard. They truly loved me, just like birth parents. I once believed this would be my family forever. But then, 4 years later, Sophie was born. From then on, all the attention shifted to Sophie, their long-minus awaited biological daughter. I was no longer their special child. I was just the adopted one. I never complained or felt jealous. I was lucky to have them, so I always tried to be a good kid. I helped Mom take care of Sophie, held her when Mom was busy, and rocked her to sleep when she cried. I tried not to be a bother, ask for too much for, or be an extra burden. I always listened to Mondays and wanted to make them happy to earn recognition. But no matter what I did, I could never change one simple true truth. I wasn't their real child. And over time, it seemed they forgot what they once promised me, that I was a part of this family. My adoptive parents, Frank and Delane, were indeed not bad people. Though I was never spoiled like Sophie, they still cared for me. They never let me go hungry or be without clothes. They paid for my college tuition, gave me an allowance, and most importantly, never demanded that I owe them anything or financially support them. They used to be that way, but then they changed. And sometimes, I wonder, was part of that change my fault? Why do I say the fault might be mine? Let me continue my story. I graduated with a decent degree. Not outstanding, but not bad. Instead of taking a break like most people, I jumped straight into job hunting. I was fully aware that I was adopted, and that my parents had no obligation to support me forever. And then luck was on my side. In the first month after graduation, I landed a job at a small financial firm with a yearly starting salary of $50,000 th. I still remember the pride I felt holding my first paycheck. The first thing that came to my mind was buying gifts and sending money to my parents. I spent $3,000 sending money to them and buying presents for Sophie. I wanted them to be happy. I wanted them to see that raising me had been worth it. That evening, when I handed them the money, Mama Lane's eyes welled up with tears. She held Dad's hand, her voice full of pride. "Frank, look, Kevin has grown up." Dad nodded, patted my shoulder gently, and said in his deep, warm voice, "That's right. We're proud of you." Those words, like a drug, pushed me deeper into the cycle of repaying them. From that day on, every month I sent money, bought gifts, and worked even harder to make them proud of me. But that pride didn't last forever. A year later, the praise disappeared. In its place came selfish demands. No more "we're so proud of you." No more encouraging pats on the shoulder. Only messages, phone calls, in a completely different tone. "Can you send a little extra this month? The bills are piling up. Sophie needs tutoring. I don't want her to miss out on anything. We're planning a trip, but we're still short. Can you help?" At first, I didn't think much of it. I believed they needed some support, and it was my responsibility to help. But over time, the requests kept coming. The amounts grew larger, and the only thing I got in return was silence. I don't know when I became an ATM for Dad Frank, Mama Lane, and my sister Sophia. It didn't happen in a day, a week, or even a month. It happened gradually, little by little, until it became apparent, evident that I had to send them money every month, that I had to take care of Sophia, that I had to meet their endless demands, and I accepted it. I had been so used to being taken advantage of that I didn't even realize it. But then, 6 months ago, I woke up, not because of some shocking event, not because someone opened my eyes to the truth, but because of a tiny mistake my mother made with a girl. One careless moment that brought down the illusion I had built for years. That day was a rainy one. The sky was gray, and raindrops hit the apartment window steadily. My parents visited me in the evening, but not to check on how I was doing. They came to talk about buying a car for Sophia. My mom gently placed her cup of tea on the table, her eyes filled with expectation. "Sophia has graduated. She needs a car to get around, something convenient for work in the future." I stopped stirring my coffee, my brows slightly furrowed. "But Sophia doesn't have a job yet. Why does she need a car?" My dad crossed his arms, his voice dropped into a tone of quiet pressure. "Just do it for your sister. You only have one." I let out a small, dry laugh. That same old line. It was always that line. It never mattered what I thought. It never mattered whether I was willing or not. I had no choice. I sighed, setting my cup down on the table. "All right, Mom, what kind of car does Sophia want?" She smiled knowingly, as if she had already predicted my answer. Reaching into her purse, she searched for her phone. Then she frowned. "Oh, I left my phone at home. Let me borrow yours. I'll log into Messenger to check the messages Sophia sent." Without thinking, I unlocked my phone and handed it to her. Oh, she entered her email and password, and Messenger logged in automatically. No verification code was needed since Facebook always stayed signed on trusted devices. We scrolled through a few car models Sophia had sent her, then stopped at a Tesla Model Y. Price, $70,000 th. "This one is nice, sleek, modern, not safe." My dad nodded in agreement. I didn't say much. I agreed to go car shopping with them that weekend, and buy it if one was available. Spending money on them had become second nature to me too. After my parents left, I remained seated, watching the rain fall outside the window. The raindrops tapped against the glass, steady, like the rhythm of the thoughts pounding in my head. They had only been gone for about 20 minutes, when my phone suddenly lit up with a Messenger notification. I glanced at the screen. intending to swipe it away out of habit. But then my eyes froze. The message was from Sophia. So Dad, did that cow agree to buy me the car? I blinked, startled. This message was it sent by mistake. Why was Sophia messaging Dad right now? Before I could process it, another message appeared, this time from my father. Of course, he agreed. He's just a cash cow for the family. Your mom just had to talk to her nicely. And she nodded immediately. A laughing emoji from Sophia followed immediately after. I stared at the screen, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. A cold chill ran down my spine. My hands trembled as I opened the chat, unwilling to believe what I had just seen. And there it was, the family chat, a private family group. Only Mom, Dad, and Sophia. I scrolled up. Message after message appeared before me, each word slicing through me like a blade. They had never seen me as family. I had never indeed been a part of this family. I was just a cash cow, an ATM, nothing more, nothing less. Smile. I sat there motionless. My heart pounded, but my body felt frozen. Instinctively, I scrolled up, continuing to read every message they had sent to each other. How much do we need this time? If it's a lot, act pitiful. Mention family, and he'll open his wallet immediately. Sophia, this month's money is coming in late. Tell him to send more. He makes a ton of money. There's no reason for him to be stingy with his family. My dad, last time he hesitated a little, but I just had to look sad, and he transferred it immediately. So convenient. My mom. I kept scrolling. Each message hit me like a punch straight to the chest. Sophia, just say what you want. You're our only daughter. He's just a freeloader. My mom felt like my entire world was collapsing. If it weren't for us, would he be where he is today? My chest tightened. The room around me blurred. The people I had spent a decade supporting, the ones I thought were my family, they had never seen me as their son. I wanted to storm over to their house right then and there. I wanted to confront them, to look them in the eye and ask, why? But a part of me, the rational side that had spent years dealing with numbers and financial contracts, held me back. I needed to stay calm. I took a deep breath, swallowing the fury rising in my chest. Carefully, I scrolled back, capturing every single message, making sure nothing was left out. Not a single word. I set my phone down and sat silently for a few seconds. Then, I picked it back up, my eyes colder than ever. I had made my decision. The following day, I arrived at the bank at 8 a.m., not to withdraw money, not to deposit it. I was there for something else. I needed the truth to all. I requested a transaction history statement for the past 10 years, but the teller shook their head, polite yet firm. We can only provide statements for up to 7 years. You must submit a special request if you need older records. 7 years. Not everything, but enough. I signed the confirmation form, took the thick stack of documents, and left the bank with my mind completely blank. When I got home, I sat at my desk, opened the bank statements, and started listing every transaction. I grabbed my notebook and capped my pen and wrote everything down. Monthly support for my parents, $2,000. Funded by parents, Europe trip in 2022, $12,000. I bought Sophia a laptop for her first year of college, $1,500. Bought Sophia an iPhone 15 Pro Max in 2023, $1,200. Paid Sophia's rent, $500 per month. Funded Sophia's vacation in 2023, $3,000. Sophia's college tuition, $10,000. Per year. I wrote it all down, every single expense. Each number represented a time I trusted them. Each line was a piece of my life that I had poured into them. And then I added everything up. The final number made my breath catch. Almost $600,000 th. And that was just for the 7 years the bank could provide. The total would be even higher if I counted all 10 years. Since I started working, I stared at the notebook, my fingers tightening around the pen. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I let out a long, heavy breath. What the hell had I done? In the days that followed, I couldn't focus on work. I sat before my computer screen, but my mind was lost in numbers, not reports, not the financial market, just transaction after transaction. Every dollar I had sent. I asked myself, would I be where I am today without them? A part of me wanted to believe the answer was yes, but another part, I wasn't so sure anymore. As I was drowning in unanswered thoughts, a notification from that wretched family group chat popped up again. Sophia, only 2 more days until I get the car. My dad responded instantly. Seeing you happy makes us happy to hurt. I sighed, barely glancing at the screen. But then, another message appeared. This time, from Sophia herself. That cash cow still has plenty of money. Once the car is done, in a few days, have mom and dad tell him to buy me an apartment. I've already checked out a few. Nothing too expensive. Just around $15 million. I froze. My fingers tightened around my phone. But I couldn't stop reading further. Are you joking? You won't spend that much strong. My mom replied, adding an angry emoji. Sophia answered immediately, as if everything had already been planned. If he refuses, mom just fakes some tears. Talk about how much you sacrificed to raise him. He'll give in. Exactly. My dad chimed in along with a laughing emoji. And then, my mother's final message appeared. The final nail in the coffin of whatever illusions I had left. All right, let's wait until after the car. Then we'll handle the rest. I read every word. Each one cutting more profound than the last. Tears welled up, but they never fell. Why didn't they leave me as an orphan from the start? Why give me a family only to treat me like this? Nearly 30 years under the same roof. Nearly 30 years trying to be a good son. I spent nearly 30 years believing I had a family. But in the end, I was nothing more than a cash cow. And one day when they had drained me dry, they would discard me too. 2 days later, on Saturday morning, my phone rang loudly. Sophia was calling. I stared at the screen but didn't answer right away. The first ring, then the second, the third, the fourth. I swiped the screen by the fifth call and pressed the phone to my ear. Sophia, calling me this early? What's up? I asked, my tone calm as if I had no idea what was happening. Did you forget? You're supposed to take me to see the car today. Sophia's voice had a hint of urgency. Leaning back in my chair, I let out a soft sigh, making sure to keep my voice as natural as possible. Oh, right. I forgot. I've been having some financial issues lately. I can't buy the car right now. Silence for a few seconds. Sophia didn't say a word, but I could feel the shock through the gap in our conversation. Just as I expected, her voice exploded in rage. What? Are you joking? She screamed, her pitch rising, completely unable to believe what she had just heard. I pulled the phone away from my ear, keeping my expression calm. I have to go. I got things to take care of, I said smoothly, then hung up before she could scream anything else. I set my phone down on the table and glanced at the clock. If my guests were correct, they would arrive at my door before the day ended. And just as I predicted, my parents showed up at 3 p.m. Before that, they had called to confirm I was home as if afraid I might avoid them. Sophia came along, her face clearly showing her frustration. My mother stepped in first, her voice gentle yet full of unspoken weight. What's wrong, dear? Didn't you promise to buy your sister a car? Leaning against the table, I crossed my arms, calming my tone. But I recently ran into some financial issues. Right now, I can't afford to buy the car. Silence. Absolute silence. Sophia was the first to break it. She jumped up from her seat, her voice suddenly excited, as if she had just thought of a brilliant idea. You can mortgage this house to buy me the car. Your house must be worth at least $500,000 th. I turned to look at her, unable to believe what I had just heard. Are you serious? Sophia, I already took out a mortgage on this house not long ago. She shrugged, her tone turning sharp. I don't care. You have to buy me the car. You already promised mom and dad. I looked at my parents. They said nothing. No defense. No scolding Sophia for being unreasonable. Just silence. A silence that reeked of calculation. I took a deep breath, steadied myself, then spoke. All right, I'll buy the car for you, but on a payment plan. Sophia blinked as if she didn't quite understand. I continued, Daryl, I need the family to help cover the down payment. Starting next month, I'll transfer money to your account every month so you can make the payments once it's paid off. Sound good? This time, my mother responded. That works. Just make sure you pay on time. Her voice was indifferent, as if I had just signed a contract rather than discussed something with the family. Then, they got up and left without another word. I watched them go, feeling nothing but emptiness inside. I had no intention of getting revenge on them, but I thought maybe it was time they learned a lesson. The next afternoon, while I was having coffee with a friend, our conversation was just the usual work, life, until he suddenly glanced at his phone and let out a small chuckle. Your sister just bought a car. Impressive though. I raised an eyebrow and set my coffee down. What do you mean? He turned his phone toward me. On the screen was a brand new Instagram post from Sophia. The photo showed a Tesla model, neatly parked in a garage, still covered in delivery stickers. Right below, it was a proud caption. My first car. A well-deserved reward for all my hard work. I stared at the screen for a few seconds. Then I laughed. Not because of the caption. Not because Sophia was taking credit for something I paid for. But because they had walked right into my trap. A week later, just as I had expected, my phone started buzzing nonstop. The first call, I ignored it. The second call, I let it ring. Then came the flood of messages. My mom texted first. You haven't sent this month's support money for us. Right after that, Sophia messaged D2. Kevin, the landlord is asking for rent. Haven't you paid it yet? I just chuckled, calmly typing a short reply. Mom, can you borrow from Ann enough for now? I'll make it up next month. I'm tight this month. A minute later, I sent another message to Sophia. Hey, try borrowing from your friends. I'll cover it next month. And then silence. No questions about me. No, Kevin. Are you okay? No, what kind of trouble are you in? No, do you need any help? Just silence. Not because they were worried about me, but because they had finally realized that I was no longer their ATM. They didn't know that I had already canceled every automatic transfer to them. A month later, they showed up at my house again. But this time, when they knocked, the person who answered wasn't me. A middle-aged, calm, and composed man was looking at them with mild confusion. The house's new owner. They froze, that's royal. According to what the new owner later told me, my parents stood there, stunned, unable to process what they had just heard. I had sold the house, a huge decision, and I hadn't said a word to them. Of course, when they couldn't find me, they started calling. Text after text flooded my phone. My screen lit up nonstop, but I didn't rush to respond. I left my phone on silent. I let them experience what it felt like to be ignored, something I had endured for years. That night, I finally called my mother back. She picked up immediately, her voice tense. Why did you sell the house without telling us? She demanded. Do you even know the bank is chasing down the payments for Sophia's car? I let out a low chuckle, my tone unsettling like calm. Sophia's car. Tell her to pay for it herself. Silence, that's Niall. For a few seconds, she said nothing. Then her voice shot up in anger. What the hell do you mean by that night with your Dura? Leaning back in my chair, I took a deep breath before saying the words I should have said long ago. I know everything. Stop pretending. I'm not your ATM anymore. No more pretending. No more playing along. I wanted them to understand. I had seen through it all. My mother finally spoke. This time, her voice was lower, stripped of all pretense. What did you just say? You better remember. Without us, you would have been just another orphan. I let out a bitter laugh. You dropped the act faster than I expected. Goodbye. Mom, I'm not going to argue. From now on, consider me dead. I paused for a moment, then emphasized each word. And don't worry, I'll keep this secret forever. Before she could say another word, I hung up. Without hesitation, I went into my contacts and blocked every single number. At that moment, I officially cut ties with them. Forever. Honestly, I never had a grand plan. At first, I thought about revenge. I wanted them to feel even a fraction of the pain I had endured for years. But then, human nature pulled me back. I would have been just another orphan. And if I chose revenge now, how would I be different from them? So I didn't choose revenge. I chose to leave. I canceled every automatic transfer, cutting off the financial support they had always taken for granted. I lied about being broke, forcing them to drain their savings to cover Sophia's down payment. They were stuck with a monthly car payment. No one left to bail them out. As for me, I sold my house, gathered everything I had, and moved to another city where they didn't exist. I thought they would understand that this was the end, that I had left, and they should leave me alone. But no, once again, they backed me into a corner. A day after the final call with my mother, my phone buzzed with a message from Andy, a close colleague. Bro, have you seen this? You're all over social media right now. I clicked on the link he sent. The page loaded, and my breath caught in my throat. The post was from Sophia's account, and right in the middle of it was a picture of me. The bold headline hit me like a punch to the gut. Kevin the family betrayer. I leaned back in my chair, my heart pounding as I read the rest. Sophia's post. I never thought I would have to expose such a heartbreaking truth online. But I can't stay silent any longer. Kevin, the person I once called my brother, has heartlessly betrayed our family when he was a child. My parents took him in and raised him well, and loved him as their own. But instead of being grateful, he used their kindness to his advantage. He makes a lot of money, yet he never wanted to help his family. Even as my parents grew older, he ignored them, leaving them to struggle on their own. When I graduated, he promised to help me get on my feet, but in the end, he abandoned me. Not only did he cut off all contact with us, but he also sold our home without warning, leaving my parents with nowhere to go or to go. He used to say that family was the most important thing, but the moment he had money, he turned his back on us. I have nothing left to say except disappointment. Someone like him doesn't deserve to be called family. I'm not sharing this to ask for help. I just want people to know the true face of a traitor. After reading Sophia's post, I was stunned. Not only had she fabricated everything, but she had also played the perfect victim. I kept scrolling down, where the comments exploded with outrage and attacks. Disgusting. A foster child taken in, raised and educated, only to turn his back on the family. Sickening. His family supported him his whole life, and now that he has money, he throws them away like trash. What an ungrateful bastard. Poor Sophia. Having a brother like that is just inhumane. I can't understand how people like this exist. His parents must be devastated. Kevin deserves to be canceled. Don't let him take advantage of anyone else. Clenched my jaw. They had no idea what the truth was. They didn't even care. I stared at the screen, a wave of dizziness washing over me. I had left. I had stayed silent. I never intended to expose them. But what did they do? Not only did they fabricate lies about me, but they also turned me into the worst kind of villain in the eyes of the world. I gripped my phone tightly, my chest burning with rage. How far did they want to go to destroy me? I knew that if I stayed silent, they would keep fabricating more lies to attack me. I had been silent long enough. This time I wouldn't let them manipulate the truth anymore. Finally, I made my decision. I was going to expose everything. I spent the entire afternoon preparing for the video. I pressed record, staring straight into the camera. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin. You've probably seen Sophia's post about me, the post that has led to hundreds, even thousands of people attacking me online. I won't say much. I want to clarify one thing. Everything Sophia said is a lie. I paused for a few seconds, letting my words sink in before continuing. I don't need you to take my word for it. I have proof. I picked up my phone and played the screen recording of the secret family chat, the one they never thought I would discover. Message after message appeared. Cold and undeniable. He's just a camisole for the whole family. My father. If he refuses, Mom just fakes him tears. He'll give him in. Sophia. As long as he keeps sending money, he can think whatever he wants. My mother. I held the phone closer to the camera, making sure every word was crystal clear, so no one could say I was making this up. These are the people who are now online, painting me as a traitor. I picked up the thick stack of documents beside me. These are my bank statements. I lifted each page one by one. Over 7 years of transactions, every monthly payment, every expense from my parents and Sophia. Finally, I flipped to the last page, where I had calculated the total, and this is how much I've spent on them. Over the years, $600. Zeroth. I set the notebook down and looked directly into the camera, my voice steady and firm. I did everything for my family, but they never saw me as part of them. I was nothing more than a walking wallet, and the moment I stopped paying, they decided to destroy my reputation instead. I took a deep breath, keeping my tone calm but sharp. I don't need anyone's pity. I need people to know the truth. I am not the traitor they claim I am. I walked away, and I will never look back. I held my gaze on the camera for a few more seconds, letting my final words settle. Then, I hit stop recording. I uploaded the video without hesitation, attaching the full chat screenshots, bank statements, and financial records. For the title I typed, Kevin the Betrayer or the Betrayed, exposing $600,000, and the family chat calling me the milk cow. I copied the link and pasted it under Sophia's post. Less than 20 minutes later, the comments started pouring in. At first, I didn't want to read them. I had already prepared myself. Some people would believe me, while others would still attack me. But as I skimmed through the first few lines, I couldn't help but laugh. Holy shit. So the real betrayers were the family all along. $600,000. And they still wanted more. Disgusting. Those chat messages gave me chills. They used him down to the bone. Sophia lied so shamelessly. She's not even worth a damn cow. I scrolled further. Under Sophia's original post, a storm was brewing. People had started calling her out. So how do you explain those chat messages? $600,000. You said Kevin never helped the family. You came online crying about betrayal. But you were the one exploiting him the whole time. Sophia started deleting comments. But the more she deleted, the more people kept coming back to comment again. Some even Rainus uploaded my video. 2 more prominent forums and social media platforms, spreading it further. I didn't have to do anything. The truth was spreading on its own. An hour after I posted my video, a new comment stood out among the flood of criticism, directed at Sophia. Sophia locked her account. Should we all visit her? I stared at the screen momentarily, then let out a quiet laugh. You reap what you sow. I didn't have to lift a finger. Social media has done it for me. 6 months have passed. I am no longer their endless source of money. No more texts demanding cash. No more calls trying to control my life. No more being chained to responsibilities I never agreed to bear. I chose to forgive, not because they deserved it, but because I refused to let them have even one more second of control over my life. I focused on my work, rebuilding my life the way I wanted. But still, from time to time, I couldn't help but wonder, how are they doing now? Do they still blame me for their struggles? Do they regret draining me dry all those years? I don't know. Maybe I don't need to. Many people stood by me when I defended myself in that video months ago. But there were also those who called me a fool. $600,000. And you didn't even try to get it back. You're dumber than a cow. They used you for 10 years. And you just walked away without doing anything. The price you paid for your kindness was $600,000 th. Don't you feel like you got scammed? I read every comment and I laughed. Because I see things differently. $600,000. Consider it the price I paid for nearly 30 years of being their son. $600,000. That's what it cost to buy back my freedom. And if the price of my peace was only $600,000, honestly, I think I got off cheap. But what about you? Now that you've followed my story, What do you think? Was I just a cash coco? Leave a comment below and let me know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this story resonates with you. Thank you for watching.